All right. Hello, hello, everybody. Let me just make sure we are on and ready to go. Let's see here. All right. Looks like recording is in progress. Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to Storytime Spotlight. I am Catherine Calhoun, the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center. And Storytime Spotlight is a bi monthly virtual story time that we do all throughout the year. And we feature Black and Brown authors, predominantly from Pittsburgh. Occasionally, we do have some from other places. And today, we are so lucky to have a special guest, Dr. Denise LaRosa, who is an author here and lives in Pittsburgh. Now, I don't know if you're quite from Pittsburgh, but I know you're here to tell your story. So without further ado, Dr. Denise LaRosa.
Oh,
Hey.
hey, thank you so much, Cece. Thank you to the August Wilson Center for having me. I am just thrilled to be here with everyone this evening to talk about books, in particular, my book, and all things that you want to know about me.
Yes. So could you tell us, a little bit about what you do and what inspired you to become an author?
Absolutely. So currently, I am the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the Ellis School here in Pittsburgh, our only all girls pre K through 12 school in the Pittsburgh area. So I'm really proud to be a part of that community. And if we rewind and go back to when I became an author for the first time, although I do say anyone who writes, whether you're journaling, what have you, you're an author. But if we're technically speaking, I wrote my first book, the book I'm reading tonight, Empty Shoes, in 2016. And what inspired me to do that was actually my two daughters. They are now ages 10 and 12. They were ages 1 and 3, I believe, or 2 and 4. And they were just having this wonderful time playing with their shoes and also my shoes and my husband's shoes and making a mess. And I was inspired by it. And I'll share more about that specific story later. But even before I had inspiration to write my first book, I was reading children's books to my daughters and did not see them reflected in the main characters. And the rare occasions when I did see them reflected in the main characters, those characters were struggling with something. And I wanted to expose my daughters to Black joy. And I was struggling to find a book about Black joy. And so I decided, take it into my own hands, don't just complain about something, but be about making a change.
That is amazing. I love Black Joy. And when your daughters, kind of found out that this book was inspired by them, how did they feel? I mean, I guess they were a
Is
little younger then, but now being older and knowing like this was inspired by them.
I appreciate you mentioning, Cece, that they were younger. And so it's been a blessing and a gift to see how they are responding to being featured in the book as they get older. So when they were younger, of course, it was bigger than what they could imagine. And they almost think that everybody can be in a book, which is actually a goal, right? Because that is the reality. Anyone can write a book, anyone can um, be an inspiration for a book. And so I kind of like that that became the norm for them at such a young
Mhm.
age. But now that they're ages 10 and 12, they're having a lot of fun with it. And they love seeing other classrooms or families reading the book. And they just oftentimes are like, wow, like people are reading books that are about me. That's kind of
Mhm.
crazy. So it's been really neat to see how their feelings about it have changed over the years.
That's awesome. Okay. So, I know you said you were this was your first book that you wrote, correct? So you
Correct.
have how many other books after that?
So I have one other book, The Sweet School Surprise. And so I wrote Empty Shoes in 2016. I wrote
Mhm.
The Sweet School Surprise in 2018, both of which are self-published books. And I am currently working on my first middle grade novel, and I am so excited. And I don't have a release date for that yet, but I just have been enjoying the journey of writing and being inspired by young people's stories.
Yes, I'm trying to get like you, Dr. LaRosa.
Hey.
Couple books under my belt, you know.
Oh no. It's interesting, Cece, because I can't even believe it's like when I'm even doing these kinds of events, it's hard to imagine that it's me that did the thing, and
Mhm.
I'm someone who believes in a higher power, and I just feel like I'm an instrument for any and everything that I end up doing that touches lives and touches hearts. So it's like I'm talking about somebody else.
Yeah, yeah. I love this for you. And you know what? Our other guest, Miss Kia Adams, who I'm going to add here.
Hey, Kia.
Hey, I think everyone can be seen. I'm playing all this is some good technology we're working with
Yes.
here. Yes. So welcome, Kia Adams. I'll let her introduce herself.
Good evening. I'm Kia Adams. I'm the manager of education and community engagement here at the August Wilson Center. I'm very clearly not a Black woman in tech. So it just took me a minute, but it's really nice to meet you, Dr. Denise.
Oh, thank you so much, Kia. And what a pleasure to be here. Like I said, I'm just glad you made it. And, we've got Black women in tech. We got Black women, doing the work at nonprofits like yourself. We're everywhere. So you don't have to be all things.
You know
Indeed.
what? I needed to hear that today. Thank you.
That's a word.
I know we're here about the babies, but we all need a little, a word.
Absolutely.
So, Kia, we were just getting, Dr. LaRosa was, pretty much telling us, about some upcoming books that she is writing. And I was just about to get into about who is your favorite author, if you were to pick one,
Ooh.
or maybe two.
Ooh, Lord. Okay. How much time we got?
We got some time. We got some time.
Okay. So I love to read. I even have this hobby. I encourage people, like, yes, we have our day jobs, but I encourage people to find joy in things that are a wonderful escape. Books are that for your girl, Denise LaRosa. So it depends on the day or the genre. I love me some Ann Petrie. I am obsessed with Ann Petrie, and I feel like she is one of those hidden figures, if you will, to be the first Black woman to sell over 1 million copies of her novel, The Street, is something that I didn't even know about until I was in my 40s. And I think what a shame is that we don't hear of her. We love Toni Morrison, we love Maya Angelou, but why are we not talking about Ann Petrie? So I would say she's a favorite. If we're talking about sorry babies, romance, I love me some Kennedy Ryan. I love her so much. Before I Let Go is probably definitely one of my top 5 romance novels. I just love Black classics. That's something that I'm surprised that my YouTube channel that I have, it's a humble little channel. It doesn't have a huge following, but I just love and value everyone who supports it. And my most popular video, which has like over 13,000 views compared to my usual 200, is 12 Classics by 12 Black authors. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to get those authors' work in front of a larger audience. So we're talking about Langston Hughes, we're talking about Alice Walker, and even some authors that maybe we don't hear about as much, like Ralph Ellison. I feel like they need to be celebrated.
Of course, absolutely. I agree 100,000%.
Mhm.
And it's really heartening to hear that because I was always a bookworm, but it wasn't until this summer that I really started getting back into throwing myself into books. And so just to hear your dedication to spreading the word about these authors and keeping people informed, because everything is scroll, 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 scroll. But
Yes.
the way the world stops when you just sit down and read a book is priceless. It's second to none. So
Absolutely, nothing like it. And I reconnected with books right before the pandemic hit. It was around February, March of 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and it really kind of forced me to be more present and slow down. So you're right, there's nothing like lost in a book.
yes, it's
I
super.
am looking forward to the day where I can get lost in the book again, because right now I'm getting lost in research articles and all the things as I write this dissertation. So,
Been
So you
there.
writing
a
the
lot of
book,
books.
basically.
You are writing the book.
Yes. So,
That's
shout out to
interesting that
y'all
you
for.
said that. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say that's interesting that you mentioned that, CC, because that's what happened to me. And I received my doctorate in August of 2021, Hail to Pitt. And I remember just really wanting to read for pleasure. And that's kind of what led me into reconnecting with books. I just was reading so much for research that, there's a place for that, but I was ready to put that to the side.
Amen. Listen, I feel that today. I feel it. So thank you for that. So speaking of books, when you decided to move forward with illustrations with your books, how did you go about choosing an illustrator? Like, is it someone you knew? If you could explain that process to us.
Oh, I love, love, love this. And now I'm realizing I forgot to share this link with him. So I'll have to share this video after it's published. Well, I guess it is now because it's live. But to answer your question, you guys, I am not an artist, a visual artist. Now, I was a performing artist, but visual artist, not anywhere close. Like, let's just put it this way. I taught early childhood, elementary. I would draw pictures of animals, and the children had no idea what I just had drawn on the board. One time, a little girl, bless her heart, she looked and she goes, "Well, Miss LaRosa, you tried." So, needless to say, I knew before I even wrote this book back in, I believe it was 2010, I met this phenomenal human being, Nicholas Manning, and we both worked as teachers at Propel in McKeesport for Propel schools. And it was like we had an instant connection, both personally and professionally. And he loves to engage in art for joy and as a hobby. And we used to jokingly say, someday we're going to collaborate and partner on a book. And I remember reaching out to him whenever I had the inspiration to begin writing books. And I knew right away that Nick had to be the illustrator for these books. And I think it's reflected. His illustrations get a lot of wonderful feedback from the readers. The students and children feel like they're relatable, they're fun, and really help to move the story along.
Wow.
Okay, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And so, do you think moving forward that this relationship will continue and he be the illustrator for your books moving forward, or?
Yes, I would love to continue that partnership. And I just feel like he is someone who equally loves education and working with children. And we both have a heart for lifting marginalized voices and celebrating them and honoring them. And so I would love to partner with him in the future. This middle grade novel that I'm working on doesn't call for illustrations, but if the mood hits me and I go back to picture books, he would definitely be on speed dial.
Awesome. Yes.
That's great. There's nothing like when that synergy happens between an artist and a writer. It's just, it's really a blessing.
It is.
That's really cool to hear.
Thank you.
So we know you have this next book coming up. Is there anything else coming up for you that we should know as an audience? That way we can maybe support or help.
Yes, thank you. Well, one thing, this is going to sound unconventional, a little strange possibly, but one thing that I would call upon the viewers to do is to love one another. If you could, what I have coming up is moving about life with love, whether it's on my job as Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, whether it's writing a book, whether it's parenting my children, loving my family. I just, my wish, my prayer for us, and particularly as a people in the Black community, is for us to move forward in love. So that's what I have coming up in a big philosophical sense. As far as as far as my day-to-day, my day job, I love every minute. I wake up with a smile on my face, and I feel so abundantly blessed for that, to be able to have a job where I go into work with joy. And so I love working with the students. We have some Black History Month programming that we're planning. Martin Luther King Jr., honoring him during the school day in January. Also, the Ellis School. I'm not here for as an employee of the Ellis School, but I do want to plug Culture Jam. It is a student-led conference that's been around for over 20 years that the Ellis School hosts, and welcomes students from schools that are from around the Pittsburgh region. That's coming up January 17th.
Awesome.
And then for my book loving self, I have my YouTube channel, LaRosa Reads. I'm not making any money off of it, but I just want to talk books. The more people I can have connected on my YouTube channel, LaRosa Reads, the better. It's fun, and that's pretty much all I got going on.
Well, you got a new subscriber here.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a lot going on, Dr. LaRosa. But I'm here. I'm here for it. And, we thank you for being on this show. And as you were just talking, I just, you know how you like sometimes could listen to people talk, you just get wrapped into how they're talking. You're like, oh, like I love just how you deliver your, I say this to you all the time.
Thank you. Now tell my husband that.
That's how you got him. But
I don't know if Daddy LaRosa can hear me talking all day. And now I've got the tweens. I've got the tweendom. Like I wasn't prepared. Being like I'm 40-some years old, and being a tween in the 2020s is not the same as it was in the early 1990s. So I just thank you that you enjoy listening to me, because I don't know who my family does.
I mean, you're doing it right.
That's what I think. Thank you.
So, Dr. LaRosa, we are so excited to hear you read your book, Empty Shoes. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. I will take off reading this book, and you guys, I will be sure to have the inspirations of this book to come join me towards the end. My daughters, Gianna and Natalie. And so I would like to start by saying thank you for being here. I am so honored to read this story that was written with love, and I hope that you get empowered and inspired by its message. Empty Shoes by yours truly. Illustrated by Nicholas Manning. So I guess I should say briefly before I begin, our main character is Catherine, and she's inspired by my youngest daughter, Natalie. All right.
And named after me.
Hey, of course. You know, Catherines are the best. All right. Oh, let me move this way. This will be a better angle for us. I was so excited to find out if I got the part in the school play. I worked so hard and tried my best. Surely that would be all I needed to score the part. I shuffled my way through the growing crowd until I found the cast list. There it was, written on large yellow paper and surrounded by glittery gold stars. I started from the bottom and worked my way up to the top. I did not see my name. This must be a mistake, I thought to myself. Mrs. Forte will fix it. I bit my lip and wiggled my nose to keep from crying, but I couldn't stop the tears from falling down my cheeks. I was so sad. I wanted to be anyone else but me. That night was family night. Mommy, Daddy, my big sister Nicole were there, of course. My Nana and Uncle Nathan joined us too. Everyone was laughing and talking, but I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I walked downstairs and noticed everybody's shoes. They were all so different shapes, sizes, and colors. Maybe I can try them all on and be someone else, if even for a minute. It might be fun to walk in someone else's shoes, I thought to myself. I wonder whose shoes Catherine's going to try on first. Can you guess? Think about all the people that were there. She said, Mommy was there, Daddy, her sister, Nicole, Uncle Nathan, Nana. Whose shoes do you think she's going to try on first? First, I tried on Mommy's fancy shoes with heels. They make me feel like I'm walking on wheels. Oh, how I love Mommy's pretty, shiny, click-clacky shoes. But when they're on my feet, they give me the blues. Mommy's shoes make me tall, but I am not graceful in these shoes at all. They work for Mommy, but they don't work for Catherine. Can you guess whose shoes are going to be next? If you guess Daddy, you're right. All right. Daddy's shoes are so crazy. They're not even shoes. They're boots, really. Brown, yellow, and black. They're so bootsy and big. They make my legs look as thin as twigs. I get so lost in my daddy's shoes. I don't think they'd be a pair I would choose. So let's see. Catherine's tried on Mommy's shoes, Daddy's shoes, and next we have Big Sister's shoes. And they're so silvery bright. Your eyes could get blinded by their light. Pretty pink flowers perched on the side. My sister always wears these shoes with great pride. As I slip my feet into my big sister's shoes, I am not the least bit happy or amused. I thought they would feel so cool and so fun, but I was so wrong. I can't even run. Okay, 2 more pairs of shoes to go. And next are Nana's. Nana's shoes are so downright silly. There's no sparkles, no lace, and nothing frilly. Indeed, Nana's shoes are so simple and plain, and walking in her shoes is such a big pain. Nana says they feel so nice and comfy, but these shoes make me feel stiff like a mummy. And last, or is it last? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see who's next. Uncle Nathan's shoes. Uncle Nathan's shoes are as big as canoes, spick and span, looking good as new. They may fit Uncle Nathan's feet just right, but mine they just appear to eat. What a funny sight. Those things are ginormous. Fancy, but big. I got lost in the shoes and got lost in the rhymes. Then I noticed myself running out of time. As my family made their way downstairs, I felt the need to try on one more pair. Well, wait a minute. If there was Mommy, Daddy, Big Sister, Nana, Uncle Nathan, whose shoes are left? Can you guess? Now these shoes feel very familiar. The sparkles in the light make a nice glimmer. Some mud on top, some sticky gum below. They feel just right up on my toes. Cozy, comfy, glittery, and fun. Yes, these are the perfect ones. Whose shoes are those? I think they're her shoes. What just happened? What made me so happy? I thought. Then I looked down at my feet and could see me. Crazy, fun, silly, smart, cute me, and my favorite shoes, and they fit perfectly. Being someone else wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. It feels so much better just to be me. So whose empty shoes do I want to fill? Mine, of course, and I always will. The end. Yay!
Bravo, bravo.
Hey!
Love that. That was
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
So I love how you were just interacting as if we were a classroom and
Yes.
you were making us think.
I can't help myself. Once a teacher, always a teacher.
I hear that.
I loved kind of the way that this story can kind of grow with you and kind of remind you to be yourself.
Yes.
You know, I think
Thank
that's
you.
kind of powerful too for a young kid to read.
Thank you. That was the goal. You know, I was looking at the girls because I'm going to tell you, this doesn't get me Mom of the Year. But what do you think I did when I saw my daughters making a mess with all those shoes? I was like, girls, clean up. And then I stopped and I was like, oh my goodness, empty shoes. And they're trying on different shoes, pretending to be different people. And so, like, my message to us as adults, and to everyone, but particularly us as adults, children can teach us so much if we are just present and get out of this busyness, the treadmill of life, and just be present with children. I learned that's one of the things that I love about being an educator is like surrounding myself with children. I tell them all the time, I'm learning more from them than they ever learn from me. So lesson learned.
It's the truth.
Yeah. I'll have to get the girls. Would you like me to get the girls?
We want to meet them.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to put myself on mute because nobody needs to hear my mom voice.
We will wait. I'll put you on mute. There we go. We are excited to see the inspirations behind the book. Mm-hmm. Here they come.
Here they come.
Hello.
Here's Gianna.
Hi, Gianna.
Hello.
And here's Natalie.
Hello. These are the muses.
Yes.
So we go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was saying this is Catherine really in the story. This is Nicole in the story.
We love that. So we asked your mom earlier how, from her point of view, how you all felt about having a book about yourself. So now that you're here with us, how do you feel knowing that there's a book out there in the world all about you?
Well, I didn't even, it happened whenever I was like really little. So I didn't even know that she had published it. I thought it was just like a book that she had at home. And I was like, oh, wow, it's about me. And then I remember, I think it was in kindergarten, we had like each week a parent would come and read a book. And so mommy came and read the Sweet School Surprise about me. And then all the kids in my class were like, oh, I have that book. And I was like, it's an actual book. And then everybody was like applauding me. And I was like, just trying to.
How about you, Nat?
So it feels really nice. Like people are actually like reading books to their kids and classes about me and Gianna.
We're gonna have to get your autograph
Yes.
There you
The fame.
I need an autograph book with both of your signatures on it, okay?
Yes.
Yay.
So do you all think that you would want to write and be like your mom and be an author of a book?
Well, yeah, I like I'm in a creative writing club at my school, and I've written like 5 stories, and right now I'm in the middle of writing a short story like combination. It's basically like if like for instance like what if Cinderella didn't like what if the shoe didn't fit Cinderella, or what if it fit somebody else, like it's kind of like a twist on everything, or like what if like Sleeping Beauty slept until the present day and she has to like survive in like 2024.
Yeah.
She should just go back to sleep. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. Honey, you're doing all right with that long nap.
That was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so awesome.
How about you, Natalie?
Yeah. What about you?
Like, I'm not really in any like writing clubs in school,
Mhm.
but like I do like writing, but I can never really just like think of like ideas that quickly. I'm usually just like sitting there thinking of what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I mean I do like writing. I enjoy it. It's fun.
So, okay, I know writing is not completely your thing, right? But if you were to say that you had something that was your favorite thing to do that you do over and over again, what would that be?
Probably be like playing cello.
You said Jello?
Playing cello.
Oh, playing cello. Look at you. Okay, cello. That's
Amazing.
awesome.
It's just a house full of creators.
Mhm.
Yes, Daddy was a drummer. Fun fact about Mr. LaRosa is, well, I have 2 fun facts, don't we, girls?
Yeah, wait.
About Daddy.
I'm squished.
Watch out. So what's fun facts number 1?
Oh yeah. So basically, he got to play the drums for Beyonce.
Oh.
Back in 2004 with Destiny's Child on TRL, Total Request Live. Who remembers that?
That's awesome.
Okay, we have the drummer. And what is the other facts?
What's in his room?
Oh yeah, he has 3 Emmy Awards. For his job, like what he does.
Yeah, he's a technical news director. So
That's awesome.
Okay.
There's
wow.
so much talent.
I know.
hey, okay, where are the coins at though? Where are the coins at?
They come and just keep calling for them. They'll come.
I'm so quiet.
We're manifesting more coins for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
There they are.
So I have, before I have one final question on my end, and then I'm gonna pass it to Kia. So,
Sure.
Dr. LaRosa and all of you, actually, what would you tell someone who's inspiring to be a writer, or who maybe is thinking about it but not quite, ready to get into it? What are some like parting words, some inspirational words you would give to somebody?
So a lot of my stories that I write are basically like they come from like my personal experiences and like my emotions on things. I remember in 6th grade, I went through like a series, like I just wrote a lot about what was going on with me at the time, and I feel like that's what the real inspiration comes from, is you and your personal experiences, and like just to write about that is not only like fun to write a story, but like also helps get stuff off your chest.
Mm-hmm. An outlet.
Oh yeah, we got a star in the making.
Yeah. They'll do more than I could ever imagine. What about you, Nat?
I'd say kind of just like do what sounds good to you,
Mm.
and like if you don't really have any ideas, then just like write something down and maybe like continue with it, and maybe like it'll probably turn into something that you like. So yeah.
Okay. Ooh, this one's good. You guys are tough acts to follow. Advice I would have. Ooh,
Oh, I know something that you always say.
what do I say?
You do you, boo.
Okay, you do you,
Here it
Bill.
is.
I agree. I just believe you're right, G. I would say bring your authentic self to the writing process. We don't need another fill in the blank, right? The world needs your story. They need your creativity. They don't need a carbon copy of someone else. So you have something to offer the world. Just bring you to the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Kia, do you have any final questions for our beautiful guest?
I do not have any questions. I feel like everything I was thinking of was covered. My favorite thing about this story I had mentioned a bit earlier was just the fact that we had Catherine moving through trying on everyone else's, what worked for everyone else, and she finally just went back to what worked for her. And I just think that that's great. I think it's a great message to send to everyone, not just kids, not just young girls, but everyone, that you are your own best bet.
Yes.
There's no need to kind of squeeze, and I'm trying to squeeze into these shoes that really ain't mine, and all of the struggle that comes with that when you have a pair that's just for you.
I love that. I'm so thankful that you've gotten that message, because that was the goal. And, for me personally, as a person who is a believer, I just feel like, one of the things about Catherine's experience is that she thought mommy's shoes looked great from afar. But they worked for mommy. They didn't work for her. And, God made you exactly who he wanted you to be. And you may look over at someone else and think, oh, I want to be like that. But that's what is working for them. That similar to what I said earlier, like, you have something to offer by being your authentic self.
Absolutely. I love it. Perfect.
Yes,
I mean, I feel like super empowered right now.
Yay!
Awesome. This is great. This has been great. Yeah.
Thank you.
But
yes.
I mean,
And so, I'm sorry, Kia.
no, you go.
No, I was just going to say, with all this, us talking about all these wonderful things, like, we just wanted to know how we can find you. Like, if people wanted to, look you up or buy a book or find you on social media, if you can give us your social media handles and everything, that would be great.
Yes. So the books, Empty Shoes and The Sweet School Surprise. Is The Sweet School Surprise? I feel like I just had that over there. Do you see it?
It's over there.
Oh, un momento. Hold up.
Ow.
Okay, so we've got Empty Shoes and The Sweet School Surprise, also illustrated by Nicholas Manning. Both are available on Amazon.com and also at Barnes & Noble's website. Some independent bookstores carry them as well. I know in my hometown of West Virginia and a couple other towns, they carry them, and a couple of places here. But your best bet is to go on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And then my social media handles are on Instagram. I'm at LaRosa Reads, LaRosa Reads, Reads. I'm there on IG as well as on YouTube. So let's talk books.
Oh,
Awesome.
Yes.
I need a gin.
Any final words from our special guest? Any final words that you would like to say or anything?
Um,
I think we done said everything.
I think you have. And I just am so gracious to them for joining me. I know you were living your best lives building Legos and maybe doing homework, but I appreciate you joining us.
I did all my homework.
Okay, great. And I just have, the only final thing I have to say is to both UCC and Kia, and finally also the August Wilson Center, Thank you for giving us authors a platform. Thank you for all the work you're doing in the community to enrich our community through the arts and community gatherings. It means so much. And I am a huge supporter of the August Wilson Center and August Wilson himself. What a legend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we thank you so much, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you, lovely little ladies, and like we just love. I loved every bit of this.
Right.
It's a real treat.
Before we depart, yes, a real treat. Kia, before we depart, would you like to talk about Art Camp briefly?
Yes. So on November 2nd from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. this coming weekend, on Saturday, we will be having our second session of Art Camp, and we will be learning about aliases and how they exist in the hip hop landscape. And then we'll be coming up with our own and making posters that are centered around our aliases and discussing what they mean to us. So feel free to check out the events page on AWAACC.org, and you can still register to sign up.
That's wonderful.
Yes, thank you, Kia. And other than that, we have our Community Day, save the date, of December 14th from 12 to 4, right at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center. And we will have our last and final Storytime Spotlight of the year, December 17th. So stay tuned. As Kia mentioned, check us out on AWAACC.org. And again, thank you, Dr. LaRosa, and thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.